much of an appropriate role in journalism as vertigo has in trapeze. The campaign has now consented to one national TV interview later this week with ABC's Charlie Gibson.
They really got to get some attack cards back at her.
Respect and deference toward the candidate.
Obviously you can't handle the press, you only handle Al-Qaeda and all that shit.
Here now is MSNBC political analyst Pat Buchanan. Hi Pat, nice to see you.
How you doing, Rachel? Congratulations on your new show.
Thank you very much. I feel lucky to have you here.
Well, thank you.
The respect and deference.
Say that upwards.
Let's see. Respect and deference. That struck me like a slap across the face when I heard Rick Davis say that. The idea that the media ought to be deferential to a candidate for vice president, to me, just seems fundamentally wrong in terms of what the role is.
Well, they ought to show this man a lot more respect, certainly, than she was shown when, as the Financial Times, which is not a radical sheet, said today, they pressed through an apocalyptic fit on this thing, an apoplectic fit, if you will. When she was announced, and I think she was treated horribly. I think the New York Times putting her teenage daughter's pregnancy above the fold, the Washington Post doing the same thing. Letters to the editor of the Washington Post on Saturday when I got home, every single one of them denounced the Post, and my guess is the Post put them in there because they were ashamed of what they did.
But the campaign itself put out a statement about the daughter's pregnancy. The campaign, even in her acceptance speech, she was highlighting the things that she wanted the press to focus on about her kids, talking about her son shipping out to Iraq, for example. So I don't feel like, I mean, she was introduced as a mother of 5 before we even got her name when John McCain announced her as his VP. So I don't feel like questions about her family, questions about her kids ought to be off limits if they are campaigning on the basis of her kids.
You know exactly why she had to put that statement out about her 17-year-old daughter being pregnant, because it was the scurvy lies and slanders on daily cost which were running through the press going, your smile tells me you know it as well as I do. They were forced to do this. Now, they didn't do this to John Edwards. You and I didn't talk about that. We heard those rumors. We knew the National Enquirer stuff. We stayed off it. And the way this
wait a second. They didn't have to do that because, listen, there was a lot of blog rumoring about John Edwards that didn't end up getting talked about until it was in the mainstream press. If there were rumors in the blog world that the campaign was concerned about, they didn't have to respond to them. They could have her do an interview with the mainstream press the way that John Edwards did about that. But instead, they decided to proactively address the issue, thereby putting the pregnancy on the table for everybody to talk about. They put this stuff out there. How can it be unfair to discuss
Rachel,
it?
when you see an entire Republican convention standing up and speakers who are many of the moderate Republicans, Mitt Romney, Rudy Giuliani.
Whoa.
You got Fred Thompson.
Moderate. God, I'd hate to see the non-moderates.
We've got friends in the media. They're up there going after the media, and that place is wildly cheering with enthusiasm. It's because they felt a lady, a woman that they had nominated, who was a terrific candidate, was being ripped apart. Now, let me just say,
treat her like a lady. That's the feminist way.
Sure, yeah. Okay, went to Assembly of God Church. She's a Pentecostal. I heard what she said. She said, let us pray that this war is part of God's plan. What is wrong with that for a woman whose 19-year-old boy is about to be sent off and may never return, that she asked for prayers, just as Lincoln said...
She's not praying that the war be part of God's plan.
Oh, yes,
she is asserting that the war is part of God's plan.
She did not say this war is God's plan. Look at it again.
She's asserting that God has a plan for the war, just as God has a plan for the pipeline.
No, she didn't. It's just like Lincoln said, look, let us pray that we are on God's side. And the fact is, you know how many Assembly of God folks there are out there? You know how many Pentecostals there are out there? You know how many pre-millennialists are out there? Tim LaHaye's book sold 40 million copies.
Sure.
Now, you go on national television, and you go trashing that religion because of what they believe about the end time.
Nobody's trashing anybody's religion.
When you go back over the 2 shows we just had.
You look at this stuff because we do not know, because Sarah Palin is a total national unknown, and she hasn't been made available to reporters. We don't know if she believes in the separation of church and state. We believe what we hear from her, which is that God is directing what goes.
Name one thing that suggests that she wants to establish the Assembly of God or her Baptist church or whatever she's in now as a national church.
I would love to ask her that. I would love to ask her that, but I fear that they wouldn't think I was appropriately deferential in an interview.
This is remarkable. Okay, we have the other candidate, Barack Obama, who has been for 15 years, belonged to a church which is run by a racist, anti-white, anti-American pastor, and his wife had his kids baptized by him.
Bad strategy to talk about trashing religion and then come on and bring that stuff up.
I think we can trash Reverend right.
And you have at great length. Pat, it is a pleasure to have you here.
Good to be here.
In a minute, we'll get